الوفد والشوق طريقي، جئت من فج عميق، إن من أركان ديني حجة البيت العتيق.
بسم الله الرحيم. Would like to start, and you're welcome everyone to this second session, and we hope inshallah it will be beneficial for everyone. First, we start in the name of Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, sallallahu Rasulullah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for bringing us to this stage, and may Allah help us all to witness the Hijjah. And for those going for Hajj, may Allah make it Hajj Mabrur. And for those not going for Hajj, may Allah help them give their full efforts to the 10 days of the Hijjah. So this program was organized by Bafira and Ma'ali and Hajj and Umrah Company for non-Arab speaking Hujjaj. And we thank them, and we also thank Sheikh Dr. Khalid Al-Kudair for overseeing these arrangements. So over the years, many questions have been raised about Hajj and Umrah, different Hujjaj. And some of these questions, the answers can be found directly in the ayah and hadith. But for some questions, some new things, new developments and so on, the ulama, past and present, have made ijtihad efforts and have provided answers. So they have helped us. So we rely on their answers, and we thank them for their efforts. So in this presentation, we just summarize the answers provided by reputable scholars. So we hope these answers will further clarify questions you have on Hajj and Umrah. I'll cover Hajj at a glance, just as a revision. Then I'll come straight to the frequently answered questions, frequently asked questions, and then references and conclusion. So the main part is this FAQ on Hajj. So quickly, again, it's a summary, because most of you have read through Hajj over and over again. Summary is the intention for Hajj and entering Ihram before the Miqat, and then in Makkah, Tawaf Qudum, and after that, Sa'i between Safa and Marwa, and then on the 8th of Zilhijjah, going to Mina, spending time in Arafah, and then after Arafah, spending time in Muzdalifah and collecting the pebbles, and then on the day of Eid, to pelt the Jamarat al-Aqaba only, then the sacrifice, and then to shave or trim the hair, and then Tawaf Ifada, and then after that, going back to Mina, and then for the rest 2 or 3 days, pelt the Jamarat, all of them, Al-Ula, Al-Wusta, Al-Aqaba, and then after that, the farewell Tawaf. This is the summary of the Hajj, and then for each of these, there are details and some points. And again, quick revision on the 3 types of Hajj. Many have some questions here. The 3 types are all accepted. They are all accepted. This is from the mercy and the flexibility of Islam. So you have the Ifrad, Qiran, and Tamattu. You choose the one that suits you the best. Each one has got its own circumstance. So if you come last minute, you are just leaving here at the last minute, then you choose Ifrad, and then you do your Hajj. But if you come like weeks before the Hajj, then you can choose Tamattu, and then so on. So in Ifrad, you only perform Hajj, and in both Qiran and Tamattu, you are doing Hajj and Umrah in one trip. And to thank Allah for this, you sacrifice a sheep. And so there is Sa'i, all of them, there is Ihram at Miqat, all of them, there is Tawaf, which is Tawaf al-Qudum, but for this one, Tawaf al-Umrah. And then there is Sa'i for the Hajj. There is some flexibility. It can be done with Tawaf al-Qudum or Tawaf al-Ifada. whatever is convenient. So you can do it this time when you do the tawaf, or you can do it with tawaf ifada. That's the only area of some flexibility there. And then after that, for the tamattu, you cut or shave. If it's Hajj time, it's preferred you just cut your hair, and then later on you shave your hair. And then after that, on the time of Hajj, you 8th of Zilhijjah, you go to Mina. So remain in Ihram till the day of sacrifice, and for all of them. And then for the tamattu, only on the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah, he puts on his ihram again. But for the other two, they are ihram already. And so these are the 3 months. And then the intention, you make your intention in your heart, but you have to pronounce the type of Hajj. And if you intend only Umrah, labbaika Allahumma Umrah, or Allahumma labbaika Umrah. If you intend Hajj only ifrad, Allahumma labbaika Hajj. If you intend Hajj and Umrah Kiran, Allahumma labbaika Umrata wa Hajja. And if you intend Hajj and Umrah Tamattu, Allahumma labbaika Umrata mutamattiyan biha ila al-Hajj. So these are the phrases you use. And according to the late Sheikh bin Baz, rahimahullah, if the time for Hajj is long, 1 month and so, and you want to do Hajj Tamattu, you only make intention for Umrah at the Miqat. And later on, you make intention for Hajj. Okay, so these are the. And if someone is doing Kiran and Tamattu but cannot afford to sacrifice a sheep or goat, he must fast 10 days. He or she must fast 10 days. 3 days, 3 of these days in the Hajj, and the rest 7 days when the pilgrim returns home. So the 3 days should not include the day of Arafah or the day of Eid. So you can fast before Arafah, or you can fast in the days of Tashriq, 11, 12, 13, for the 3 days. 1 day before Arafah and 2 days after Eid, or whatever is convenient for you. And then you do the rest when you go home. Okay, that is for those who cannot afford to sacrifice. And some points on Umrah, just some few points. After completing the Umrah, completing the Tawaf, the male should cover both shoulders. Some people make a mistake after the Ittiba, when they expose one shoulder. After the Tawaf, they continue exposing the shoulder and do the sa'i with one shoulder exposed. No. After Tawaf, you cover and then you pray the 2 rakah with both shoulders covered. You pray near Maqam Ibrahim, preferably. If there is a lot of pressure, you can pray anywhere convenient in the mataf. And then after that, you wave to the black stone again before going for the sa'i. And then the pilgrim also drinks zamzam. It's all part of the rites. And the sa'i, again, something after Umrah, after the Tawaf, you do the sa'i immediately. Yes, this is preferred. It's preferred after the Tawaf to do the sa'i. But if you have any circumstances, you feel sick or you feel tired, exhausted, or a lot of pressure, you can do the sa'i later. Example, you can do the Tawaf in the morning and do the sa'i in the evening. And then when the pilgrim comes now to do the sa'i, you climb on Safa, and then you make some statements. Inna Safa wal Marwata min sha'irillah. That's from Surah Baqarah. Abda bima bada Allah bi. I start with what Allah started with, because Allah mentioned Safa first before Marwa. And then after that, you make in Safa, you face the Kaaba, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, and then you make this dua. This dua is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in kabir. La ilaha illallah wahda, anjaza wa'da, wa nasara abda, wa hazama al-ahzaba wahda. You say it, you make dua, you say it again and make dua, and say it again. So 3 times. So between any 2 of them, you make dua. And the male pilgrim will run between the 2 green lights. and then goes to Marwa. At Marwa again, he faces or she faces the Kaaba and also make the same dua and any other dua. After you make this dua, you can make dua in between, then you say it again. You can make other dua in between and say it again. Okay, so there is no problem if the sa'i is done on the first floor or second floor. All the ulama also have made fatwa on this. Once doing the sa'i, if there is any doubt whether you've done 3 or 4, you assume the lower one. You assume the lower one and continue. Is it, have I done 5 or 6? You assume 5 and continue. So now we come to some questions. What are the pillars of Hajj? The pillars are 4. Ihram, standing on Arafah, even for 1 minute. Arafah, even for 1 minute, you satisfy the pillar. And then Tawaf Ifada and Sa'i. If any of these pillars is neglected, the Hajj is incomplete. That is, if you go, let's say you're going from Mina to Arafah, and then you miss your road and go somewhere else. You go off track, and then you could not go to Arafah, and then Kalas, and the next day finish, you've missed the Hajj, because it is a pillar of the Hajj. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we have Hamla. The Hamla has a system, so follow the system of the Hamla. But these Hamlas are well trained, they have many years of experience. If you follow the system of the Hamla, you will not go wrong. Okay, so you will not go wrong. And there have been stories of people that missed Arafah. They went off, they went here and there, and they missed Arafah altogether. So these are the pillars, and then the requirements are 7. The requirements, if you miss any of the requirements, your Hajj is still valid, but you have to make fidya. Okay, you have to make fidya. This has to be sacrificed in Makkah and given to the poor. What are these requirements? The ihram at the miqat, and staying in Arafat till sunset, staying in Muzdalifah, staying in Mina on the nights of Tashriq, and stoning the pillar, Rami, and then shaving or cutting the hair, and the farewell tawaf. Any of these, if it's missed for one reason or the other, then you do fidya. But we try to do them as much as possible, all of them. It's not, I can afford fidya, therefore you be careless. No, it's not like that. And the miqat, another question people usually ask, when they come by air, where is the miqat? The miqat is the same. The miqat are fixed, whether you come by sea or air or road. And so these are the five miqat: Yalamlam and Karn, Manazil, Dhat al-Irq, Al-Jufa, and Dhul Hulayfa. So if you're coming by air, and then you pass by the miqat, then that's your miqat by air when you pass it. So at that time, you can start in the plane, and the plane, you can wear your clothes. You can wear the white, the male can wear white at the airport. You can take bath at home and wear white. But the miqat is not at the airport. It's when the plane passes this miqat. That's when you have to make the statement. Labbaik Allahumma Umra or Labbaik Allahumma Hajj. That's when you make the statement, and then you are now fully in ihram. Can someone make a conditional ihram? Yes. If the pilgrim fears that he or she might not complete the Hajj due to illness or any reason, he or she is allowed to make conditional ihram. That is, after you make the statement like Labbaik Allahumma Hajjan, then you add to it, فَإِنْ حَبَسَنِي حَابِسْ فَمَحَلِّي حَيْثُ حَبَسَتْنِي. That is, if I'm prevented by an obstacle, my place of freedom from this state of ihram will be where you hold me up. So at that point, you are out of ihram. So that is, so you don't have nothing to pay. You don't have no fidya to make. So that's a conditional ihram for those who fear illness or any reason. Can you change your intention? It depends on the intention. Can someone change intention and do Hajj for someone? According to the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَأَتِمُّ الْحَجَّ وَالْأُمْرَةَ لِلَّهِ. For this reason, the pilgrim should complete the Hajj for which he or she intended. So you make intention for Hajj, complete it. But there is a change of intention you are allowed to do. The type of Hajj. You can make intention for one type of Hajj and later on you can change your intention. For example, you can change from Kiran to Tamattu, except if the pilgrim came with his hadi, which is, can you please note down your questions so that when we finish, then we can answer the additional questions. That will be easier. Just note down your questions, either in the chat or you write down by hand. So based on one, except this is not very common nowadays. In the past, people used to come with their sacrifice. Then once you come with your sacrifice, you cannot change your intention to tamattu. So these are the two cases about intention. Can someone do Hajj on behalf of another person? Yes, you can do Hajj on behalf of someone dead or seriously sick or very old and weak. Your father, your mother, your aunt, your uncle. But only after you've done your own Hajj. You have to first do your Hajj. Then next year, if you want to do it, you can do the Hajj next year or after that. If you want to do it this same year and you haven't done your Hajj, then you can pay someone to do the Hajj. It's allowed. So if you cannot do Hajj for someone, it's allowed to pay a learned person or a trustworthy person to do Hajj on behalf of the person. So you can do Hajj, you yourself can do it for the person, or you can pay someone to do it for the person. What happens when the tawaf is interrupted by salah? When you're doing your tawaf and the salah comes, you stop your salah, you stop your tawaf and do the salah. And then after that, you continue from where you stopped. So if your salah, if the tawaf was interrupted in the first circulation, you do your salah, you finish your salah, then you complete the fifth and do the remaining two circulations. And again, whenever you're in doubt, you work on the less of the two. If you are in doubt whether you completed 6 or 7, you take it at 6 and complete the remaining one. So you do your tawaf normally. When salah comes, you stop and do your salah, and then you continue your tawaf. What is ramla, and when can the pilgrim do it? Ramla is a fast pace. It's not running. It's just moving fast, walking fast in the first 3 rounds of the tawaf. The remaining 4 rounds should be done at normal pace, and it's only done by males, and only in the tawaf on arriving in Mecca. The tawaf on arrival, that's when you do the ramla for the first 3. For Umrah or Hajj Tamattu or Hajj Kiran, you do the ramla for the first 3. Later on, for tawaf ifada or tawaf wada, you don't do ramla. You don't do ramla. Only for the first 3 and only for males. Only for males. Mr. Walid, please let us finish. Then inshallah we'll continue with the questions, please. What happens when the wudu breaks during Umrah? For tawaf, you have to renew your wudu. Alhamdulillah, now there are areas in the haram where you can do your wudu. You don't have to go out of the haram. So you renew your wudu and then you continue you come and do your tawaf. For Safa and Marwa, you complete your sa'i even if your wudu breaks, as wudu is not a condition for sa'i. Then we come to Arafah. What are the sunnahs of Arafah? The day of Arafah is the main day of Hajj. Is the day for making the greatest effort in dua. That's why it's not recommended to fast in Arafah. So you be strong to attend to this, to the main activities on this day. So Zuhr and Asr are prayed in Jama'ah, shortened and combined. Jama'ah to Taqdim, you at the earliest time. So you pray Zuhr and Asr, two raka, combined, 2 raka, salam, 2 raka, and then early at the azan for Zuhur, and 1 azan to Iqama, and there is no prayer in between. And it's allowed to do it in a Jama'ah in the tent, because sometimes the masjid is very far, there is too much crowd, so you can do a Jama'ah in the tent. And then after doing the Zuhr and Asr, you listen to the khutbah, because now there are speakers. You can hear the khutbah. You can hear the khutbah. And then after that, your time is free for du'as. Your time is free for du'as. You make dua facing the Qibla. The whole of Arafah is a place for standing. It is not necessary. I'm sorry. It is not necessary. It is not necessary to go out of your way to climb Mount Rahmah. All that will take your time and put you into pressure and frustrations. Wherever you're standing, that's a place of standing, and then you face Qibla and make dua. You make dua. If you're tired, you sit down, and then you get up again, make dua, like that. So your whole time now is for just duas. It's for duas. You make lots of duas, and the best dua for the day of Arafah is La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. That's the best dua. And then you can add other duas. That's the best dua. And then also to leave Muzdalifah after sunset. These are some of the sunnahs in Arafah. And should all the stones be collected only from Muzdalifah? At Muzdalifah, the pilgrim collects 7 stones for throwing on the large pillar on the day of Eid. For the remaining days, the stones can be collected from any place in Mina. So just collect 7 on the way, and that's it. And then after that, the rest you can collect from Mina. What is the order? Ustaza Khadija, please let us finish, then inshallah we'll answer all the remaining questions, inshallah. What is the order of activities on the day of Eid? There is a preferred order. The preferred order is to stone the large pillar, to sacrifice the animal, either by yourself or they do it for you on your behalf, to shave or shorten the hair, shaving or shortening of the hair, and then tawaf ifada, and then sa'i for those who did not do sa'i at tawaf qudum. This is the preferred order, but by the mercy and facilitation from Allah, if the order is mixed up in case of need and there's a lot of pressure, there is no problem. Okay, so that doesn't mean we go out to do the order in reverse. No, it means we try to follow this order, but if there is some reason we cannot do this before this, there is no problem. There is no problem according to the hadith. Can tawaf ifada be combined with tawaf wada? The tawaf wada should be the last action to be done before leaving Makkah. And the best thing is to do them separately. Tawaf ifada, do it, and tawaf wada, you do it. That's the best thing. But for those staying in Makkah after Hajj, they are going to stay like 1 week more in Hajj, after Hajj. The tawaf ifada should be done separately from tawaf and wada. If the pilgrim is leaving Makkah immediately after Hajj and has delayed his ifada, is allowed to combine it with wida. Tawaf wida to be 2 in 1. So it's allowed. But as we said before, as best as possible, if you can separate it, is better. But if you have circumstances, and then so it's allowed to join them for those living immediately after Hajj. But for those who are going to stay in Hajj, in Mecca for 4 days, 5 days, or 1 week after Hajj or more, for them, they have to separate it. They do the ifada and complete it. And then when they are leaving Hajj, when they live in Mecca, they do the tawaf al-wada. What are the sunnahs on the days of Tashriq? To pray salah on their time, to shorten them, but not to join them. To shorten them, but not to join them, except for Maghrib and Fajr, which there is no shortening. There is no difference between the Hujjaj and people of Makkah in this matter. Okay. For staying in Mina, staying for 2 days is permissible, but 3 days is better. Staying for 2 days is permissible, but 3 days is better. Okay, so but if you cannot do 3 days, then tell us the 2 days is allowed. Okay, 2 days is allowed. So stoning of each of the 3 jamarat for each of the days, for each of the either 2 days or 3 days, to stone each of the 3 jamarats in sequence. After stoning the first jamarat, using seven stones the size of a pea or chickpea, move a bit forward, face Qibla, raise hands and make dua. And then you go to the next jamara, you stone the jamara, then you move a bit forward, face Qibla, make dua, raise your hands and make dua. And then the third jamara, you just move on. After stoning, you just move on. That is the sunnah. So these are some of the sunnahs in the days of Tashriq. And then before we finish, we look at the case of women. In general, all the rights of Hajj and Umrah apply equally to men and women, except a few. And some of these are the following. One, they need mahram. The women need mahram. Some scholars are strict on this, but others allow them to go with a group of women. She does not wear niqab. She does not wear niqab. She can wear clothes of any color, gray and brown and so on. And if she sees her menstruation, she can do everything except tawaf and sa'i. And she does not run between Safa and Marwa. The men run between the Safa and Marwa. The women do not run between Safa and Marwa. She does not shave her hair. She only cuts from the end of the hair a finger's width, small. She's allowed to ask another pilgrim to stone the jamarat for her. If there's a lot of pressure and she's afraid, she can allow others to stone. The pilgrim should stone for himself, then stone for the other person. So it's not one stoning for both of us. You stone for yourself, then you stone for the other person who has asked you to stone for her. If she sees her menstruation after completing the Hajj, she can travel without tawaf al-wada. That's also another exceptional situation for the women. She's allowed to leave Muzdalifah for Mina with the weak and the ill. All these are allowances. Allowances. I think these are the main questions I prepared, and my main sources are, as I said before, the excellent book prepared by Sheikh Talal Akil, published by Ministry of Hajj, and also Hajj, Umrah and Ziyarah by Sheikh bin Baz, Rahimahullah, and Jamil Manasik by Sheikh Sultan Al-Eid, and the details of the rights of Hajj and Umrah by Sheikh Fawzan. So these are the main resources I use. This is just a summary. If there's anything unclear, please refer to the Hajj and Umrah guide. If there is any contradiction between this summary and the Hajj and Umrah guide, please accept the position as given in the Hajj and Umrah guide. So these are the question and answers I prepared. And now I can take your questions. I will look at the questions in the chat, and then if you have other questions, I will answer them. Another question by Intisar. For those doing Kiran, we do Umrah first, and then, yes, of course, Umrah and Hajj together. In order to do Hajj, one has to do Nafil Tawaf, then do the Hajj Sai. In your slide wasn't very clear. Let me go back to the slide. Yeah, for the Kiran, the Kiran and the Tamattu, both of them you're doing Umrah and Hajj. That's why for both of them you sacrifice. So for both of them you have Tawaf, but in Tamattu you are doing the Umrah separate from the Hajj. But in the Kiran, the Umrah is with the Hajj, it's together. That's why you don't remove your ihram in Kiran. In Tamattu, you remove your ihram. So in Kiran, you do your Tawaf Qudum, you do your Sa'i for Hajj, you stay in ihram. You don't remove your ihram until the 10th. In Tamattu, you do your Tawaf for Umrah, you do your Sa'i for Umrah, then you cut your hair, then you're released from the ihram until the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah. So that's the difference between the two. But for both of them, you have to sacrifice. Is that okay? Let's go back to the questions. How will we be making the sacrifice? There is organization you can pay. You can pay, and for your sacrifice, they can do it. They will do it for you. They have a system. They will do the sacrifice for you. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. Ustaz Sajjad, can we do one tawaf having near of tawaf al-Qudum and Umrah tawaf in Hajj Kiran, or we have to perform separate tawaf? No, not separate tawaf. Here you have in the Kiran, you do your tawaf al-Qudum. Then your sa'i you can do with the tawaf Qudum, or you can do the sa'i with tawaf ifada. But you have, so that is your, you do your tawaf, and then your sa'i you can do at the same time, or you can do later. Is that okay for this Kiran? Can you confirm about the vaccine? Again, this is Idari, this is admin, so you can check with the WhatsApp group. Faizan Moise, Hajj Tamattu, I performed Umrah yesterday and back to home Jeddah. So what are the difference between Tawaf Qudum, Tawaf Ifada, and Tawaf Ziyara? And type. As we explained here, so you are, if you're doing Tamattu, so you're out, you've done the Tawaf, for Umrah, and then you've done your sa'i. You are released now until the 8th of Dhul-Hijjah to put on ihram again. And now you only have now to do now this. You assume your ihram on the 8th, and then after the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah, on the Yom al-Eid, you come now and do your Tawaf al-Fada. You Tawaf al-Fada on the 10th of Dhul-Hijjah. Okay, so that is it. Time. And the other question, do we need to be in our ihram already at the airport? It's just a close. At the airport is just a close. You didn't pronounce your labbaik yet. You just wear a normal clothes. And then when the plane they will announce when the plane is reaching now the miqat. That's the point. That's the time you make your labbaik, and then you make your formal intention. Okay. Okay. So that's for the airport. Okay. So where do we get the Hajj card? This is all from the Hajj card is all electronic. This is all again Idari. When you enter the system, you pay all your fees and all this. At the Hajj, you get electronic card. It's electronic card. All this is Idari. It's administrative questions. For Tomato, when should we do the Nia? All of them are the Mikat, as I said before. Whether Ifrad or Kiran or Tomato, at the Mikat. At the Mikat, that's where. But if you have done your Umrah already, then you just, on the 8th of the Hijjah, if you are in Makkah, you just make labbaik Allahumma hajjan, and then because you made intention for Umrah, you finish on the 8th, you make you wear your ihram, make your intention for ihram, and then you start, you just go straight away from your residence. You don't have to go back again to the Mikat if you've passed the Mikat already. Please explain the rukum in detail. Let's go back. The rukum. The rukums are these are the conditions, the requirements of Hajj. There are 7. Assuming the ihram from the mikat. So if you pass the mikat, you didn't wear ihram for one reason or the other, then you have to sacrifice because you violated one of the requirements. Stay in Arafat till sunset. If you stay in Arafat only for Asr, then you leave before sunset. Again, that's a requirement you violated. You should wait till after sunset, then you move, okay? And staying in Muzdalifah, with the exception of the women who have exceptions, this is also another requirement. Staying in Mina on the rights of Tashriq, you don't go and stay in Makkah, you stay in Mina, okay? And then stoning of the pillars, if you miss that again, also your Hajj is still valid, but you have to do fidya. And you didn't shave your hair or cut your hair, again, you have to shave. You've done everything except the Tawaf al-Wada. And then you went without doing the Tawaf al-Wada, you do again the sacrifice. You do again, it's also another violation to a fidya. Okay, another question. I am not in WhatsApp. No, this is also Idari. This is also 054. Please contact the administration and give them your number, and then they will attend to your information as well. Another question. I am from Jeddah. I'm planning to do Hajj Tamattu, but some people say we cannot do Tamattu Hajj because we live in Jeddah. And Hajj Ifrad is the only type for the Jeddah resident. Like I said, it's flexible. If it's very flexible for people of Makkah, Hajj Ifrad is the easiest for them. They have done Umrah already, and then so for them, Hajj Ifrad is easiest for them. So also for yourself, there is no. You can do Ifrad. It's not a problem. Whatever is convenient for you. If the time is very short, really choose the one that is most appropriate for you. I don't want to recommend this one or this one. Each one you choose one that is most appropriate for you. Once you understand what are the 3 types of Hajj, then you can choose which one suits you the most. The Ifrad, you don't do Umrah, you just do your Hajj one time, and then you don't have any sacrifice. In Kiran and Tamattu, you have Umrah with the Hajj, and you have a sacrifice to do. In Kiran, you don't remove your Ihram. You are in Ihram throughout. You don't put perfume, you don't cut your fingers. You are in Ihram throughout. But in Tamattu, after you finish your Umrah, you can cut your nails, you can put perfume and so on. So each one should check his situation and choose. Allah made it very easy. We cannot restrict you, do this one, do this one, do this one. Another question, you said that we have to offer prayers of Zuhr and Asr collectively in our camp, whereas I was informed, according to Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, if we are not in the masjid and Namara, we have to pray Zuhr and Asr on its time by reducing it as Qasr. The Imam, they are well respected. We accept, we respect all the 4 Imams, okay? We respect all the 4 Imams. And but the issues of Hajj, some scholars have checked through all the different opinions, and then they try to get the best one, the best opinion there. So from what the ulama are saying, the Zuhr and Asr, the Zuhr and Asr should be done Jam' Taqdim, Kasr, Jam' together in Asr time, and then together in the first time, the Zuhr time, and shortened and combined. That is for the this Ustaz Sajjad. When you are not in Hajj and Umrah, you are traveling, then you can take some of these opinions. But for Hajj and Umrah, what is in Mina applies even for the people of Makkah. The people of Makkah, they are not traveling. They are not traveling 40 kilometers. But for them in Hajj, when they come to Mina, they have to do the same thing. They have to also cut their prayer and combine the prayer and so on. So I suggest for Hajj and Umrah, we take what this ulama have given us the best opinion. And then after Hajj and Umrah, we can take other opinions and so on. So, from what we know, the Zuhr and Asr are prayed, are combined and prayed at the first time, whether it's in the tent or whether in the masjid and namira. Okay. Another question for Hajj Tamatu: should we do Niyyah wear ihram after returning to Mina? We've explained about the no. On the 8th, you are already going for Hajj. On the 8th, the Hajj starts, not returning from Mina. Your Hajj, you go for before Zulhijjah, you can do your, before the 8th of Zulhijjah, you can do your Umrah. But on the 8th of Zulhijjah, you are now doing the Hajj, whether it's now Tamattu or this. All of you are doing Hajj on the 8th of Zulhijjah. So you don't go back again to your about Niyyah again. The Niyyah is on the 8th of Zulhijjah. How to Niyyah and pronounce for Badal Hajj? I'm not sure about this. Type another question. Some has disease, post voiding, describing, and some drops coming on the cloth. In that condition, what he will do? This is a fiqh issue that ulama have addressed before. That someone who has got an issue when the urine is dropping, he has to make a wudu for each salah. He has to make wudu for each salah. And then when he make wudu, whatever come out, the ulama say he can just overlook it. Okay, but the next salah again, he has to make a wudu, a fresh wudu for each salah. Okay, so this is a fiqh issue. It's not a Hajj issue. So you can also consult with the sheikh in your masjid. We'll be performing Hajj and Umrah in the same ihram. The clothes, you can change the clothes, no problem. Your ihram, if you wear ihram, it is dirty, you have a second ihram, you can change it. And the women can always change their clothes. That's allowed, no problem. It's not the ihram you wear at the miqat, it's not a condition that you should have that same ihram throughout the Hajj. No, you can change ihram. You can wash your ihram also. Please share the organization for sacrifice. I will tell Sheikh Dr. Khalid to send the information for the organization for sacrifice. I will remind them. Another question, can this session be shared in your YouTube for our reference in YouTube? Please feel free. We will send this. I'll make a PDF out of this and send to all of you, inshallah. Like what type of Hajj are we performing? Like first Umrah, then Hajj, then Qat. These are the questions we've answered before. This question, please, I've sent this book before. Read this book again. The book from the, read this book again. The Hajj you're performing, as we said again, over and over again, is of three types. The Ifrad is only Hajj. The Ifrad, there is no Umrah. The Ifrad, you're only doing intention for Hajj. You have a Tawaf al-Qudum, and then your Sa'i, and then you do your Tawaf Ifrad for only Hajj. Only Kiran and Tamattu, you're doing Umrah, and then your Umrah is part of the Umrah and Hajj together. The Umrah and Hajj together. So when you cut your hair, because you cut your hair for the Tamattu, you finish your Umrah, so you have to cut. But for this one, he is still in Ihram. He doesn't cut. He doesn't cut his hair, he doesn't cut his nail. He doesn't cut because he's still in Ihram. He will only do it on the 10th. He only do it on the 10th. That is the difference. So please read this again in the book. I'm living in Jeddah. I'm trying to make Hajj Tamattu. If I did the Umrah for Hajj nowadays, what will be remaining for Tawaf and Sa'i when I come for Hajj? A very good question. If you do your Umrah now, then you are free until the 8th. Until the 8th of Ihram, the 8th of Zulhijjah, you wear your Ihram and go to Mina. You wear your Ihram and go to Mina straight away. Okay? For Tamattu, should we come out of Ihram after Umrah on the 7th? And then, yes, if you are doing Tamattu, and if you are doing Tamattu, after your Umrah, you cut your hair, you have to come out of the Ihram. You are out of the Ihram, even if it is 1 hour. Once you're doing Tamattu, you're out of the Ihram. And then on the 8th, maybe on the 7th, on the morning of the 7th, you finish. You have to be out of Ihram. Then on the 8th, you put on your Ihram again and do it. If the time is very, very short, maybe you can consider Kiran than Tamattu. But again, you check your circumstances and decide which one suits you the most. Another question, what kind of Hajj? This question is very common. So please, I recommend read this book again. This book from the Hajj, Ministry of Hajj. Which kind of Hajj can we perform from Khobar as we are arriving on the 6th or 7th of Zulhijjah? Again, check your situation and decide. Check your situation and decide. There are some people, they don't go for Umrah a lot. So for them, and Hajj and Umrah together it's good for them. But there are some people who go for Umrah a lot. So for them, maybe Hajj alone will suit them. Again, you check your situation and decide. No one can decide for you, you know. And you check the time, when I'm going to arrive in Mecca, when I'm going to finish it, how long the time, all of that, and calculate. It's very flexible, and then so we don't tighten ourselves. We check and decide what suits us the most. And really, I don't want to prescribe to anyone which one to do. Up to what time should we stay in Muzdalifah? Muzdalifah, you spend the night in Muzdalifah. Then in the morning, there's also wukuf in Muzdalifah. Just as there's a wukuf in Makkah, in Arafah, there's wukuf in Muzdalifah, Mashhar al-Haram. There again, you can make dua. You can make dua. So as much as possible, you stay in Muzdalifah for the night, and Muzdalifah is to sleep. It's not for tahajjud. It's not for tahajjud. You sleep, rest, and then there's wukuf. You make dua until it becomes a little bit bright, then you move on. Okay, and all of this add more pleasure to the Hajj. Another question: our Hajj operators has advised to gather on the 7th of the Hijjah. Actually, we had performed the Umrah. So we would on the 7th Zulhijjah, should we stay in the bus or go to the Haram? This is part of your admin things. You have a WhatsApp group, and those are there, and there are sheikhs who in the WhatsApp group. So please speak to them, and they will explain more about the logistics of that. Request one session for admin affairs. Okay, I'll tell Dr. Khalid to organize a session for admin for you. Okay, this is all the questions I've received so far. Any other questions? There's one question from, I'm living in Jeddah and planning to make Hajj Tamattu. If I did the Umrah nowadays, and what to be remaining for Tawaf and Sa'i when I come on the 8th of Zulhijjah? Do I need another Tawaf Ifada and Sa'i on the 10th? On the 8th of Zulhijjah, no, there is no more Tawaf for you. On the 8th, you're doing Tamattu, you've done your Umrah. On the 8th, you just go to Mina. And then after you finish on the 10th, you do your Tawaf al-Ifada when you finish on the 10th. Is that okay? I think that is it for now. I thank you very much. If you have any other questions, I'll put my email, and then you can send me questions, and then I'll answer it privately, inshallah. I thank you very much. Any other questions? May Allah accept your Hajj. May Allah make it Hajj Mabrur. And please remember us in your du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, Dr. Sulaiman. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you.